Thank you, Cahirlach. To ask the Tánaiste and Minister for Enterprise, Trade and Employment if he will report on efforts to assist business with the rising energy prices, and if he would make a statement on the matter.
I'm very conscious that business owners and managers are worried heading into the new year. The invasion of Ukraine has had massive consequences for the whole of Europe, not just Ireland. Indeed, we're now facing a global inflation crisis exacerbated by the war. Energy and other inputs costs have risen considerably. Interest rates are rising and consumer confidence is waning. I think it's fair to say that the government has not been found wanting when it comes to helping businesses get through difficult periods and saving the jobs of the people who work there. That was particularly evident with the employment wage subsidy scheme during the pandemic. My message to small and medium enterprises, professionals and farmers is that help is available. The Temporary Business Energy Support Scheme, or TBES, will provide qualifying businesses with relief of 40% of the increase on their electricity bills or gas bills, up to a maximum of €10,000 per month, or €30,000 in some cases. It's important that businesses get their paperwork and bills in order, register and make a claim on revenue.ie. With Minister McGrath, I launched the Ukraine Enterprise Crisis Scheme for manufacturing and internationally traded firms in October. It is assisting firms suffering liquidity problems and those most impacted by severe rises in energy costs. I anticipate further modifications to the scheme will be announced shortly. We're also complementing financial grants with state-backed loan schemes, state-backed low-cost loans. The state-backed Ukraine Credit Guarantee Scheme will be open within weeks and will assist the wider business sector with liquidity to invest in energy efficiency and with working capital for the next few months and years. Furthermore, a new state-backed growth and stability loan scheme will open for applications early next year. This is a successor to the popular Future Growth Loan Scheme. In the medium to long term, we'll help businesses to invest in energy efficiency and reduce reliance on fossil fuels. There are about 20 energy efficiency schemes already available, but take-up isn't what it should be. That's perhaps because people don't know about the schemes or maybe don't see a return on investment. So we will work to ensure the right incentives and information are in place to improve take-up.
Thank you, Tánaiste. There's a huge opportunity with that. I'm interested to know what the level of interest that has been expressed to you on the state-backed guarantee scheme. I recall during COVID there was scepticism about a previous iteration of that, but actually the numbers were very high of companies taking up the opportunity to have a state-backed loan scheme, as it were, and I think it's something that could be kept in perpetuity, really, as a model for financing corporates trying to get through difficult periods or trying to expand in particular ways. Again, the Family Business Network highlight to me that where energy is a major element in manufacturing, their fuel costs, what they're seeing on average among their members, have gone up 80%, freight up 20%, and chemical, steel, that sort of input cost have gone up between 15 and 25%. These are huge, huge additional costs to any business. And I might address, the energy prices and the supplementary.
Yeah, roughly 10,000 businesses availed of the COVID loan scheme and the Brexit loan scheme, and the Ukraine loan scheme is essentially
same thing.
The version of that for the current challenge. We don't know yet what the take-up is going to be like. The first of the main banks will be offering it in the next few weeks, and I guess we'll have a better idea in 6 weeks or 6 months' time. What I can say for sure, though, is I do think that the Growth and Stability Loan Scheme will be very popular. It is the follow-up to the Future Growth Loan Scheme, and that was actually fully subscribed. And this is for businesses that are expanding and want to invest in energy efficiency, and we think that one's going to be very popular.
I tend to agree, Tánaiste, and as you become Taoiseach this weekend, if I could make one request to you, and that's in relation to the opportunity that you've identified there in relation to wind energy. And I met a group of wind companies from Denmark, from Norway, from Ireland, European Irish-backed funds, companies, and they talked to me about the opportunity here in Ireland, but how we're possibly missing the chance for it to be realised and realised quickly enough because of the gaps of three certainties: planning certainty, grid certainty, and demand certainty, and that even if the first round of auctions goes through, we will have, if that were to be operational, so much more capacity than demand on the island. Actually, they were making the point that without data centres running as a constant, they can't be sure that they have sufficient use, there's so much more use, and I'm sorry, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm not saying this well, to be able to sustain the amount of energy, and that they have to build into the risk profile actually turning off turbines that don't need to be turned off in the absence of demand certainty. Grid certainty, air grid they are telling me, and I think it's important to highlight, have missed target after target in relation to this. And they just, of course, they need more resources, but they need to deliver on the grid development that has been set for them. And I know that there's a big change in relation to planning. There is no point in talking about 800,000 square kilometres of opportunity. It simply has to get done on a practical basis, and it has to start getting done on a practical basis now, before the financing investment simply moves elsewhere around Europe or to the United States, and we lose this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Yeah, thanks, Deputy. Certainly on the planning certainty, Mara will be up and running very soon. And we need to make sure we do the seabed mapping as well, because it won't be possible to grant consents unless that's done. And if we need to find innovative ways to do that.
With the exception of Dunleary.
That we should. Well, yeah, that's true. When it comes to the grid certainty, absolutely right. We need to invest in the grid and invest a lot in the grid in the year ahead. I hadn't heard the point about demand certainty before, and even though it is 1 o'clock, it was interesting to hear something new of that nature. Because at the moment we have excess demand, we have so much demand and not enough generation. But I can see how that could flip very quickly, and we'd be wondering why we didn't see it coming. And now we can't say that because you've raised it all. So we have to be prepared for demand certainty. And I think the best way you can mitigate against that really is through interconnection, so that if there is excess energy being produced, it can be exported. So I don't think that the connection to France is going to be enough. We're going to need a super grid. And you'll have heard some interesting ideas around supergrid and how that could be done. And also we're going to need things like battery storage, for example, so that we can store energy and then use it at other times.